Hello, friends. It's episode number 158. I know you've been waiting for 3 weeks. I was just out there pumping away at some new content, books, entertainment, and recipes for all of you. So thank you for your patience. I also did massively burn myself out for the last few weeks. So I needed time to rest, which is what I recommend to each of you to also make sure you spend time doing. It is an important and essential part of wellness. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of essentials, some really invigorating and very important ways that true wellness has come into my life over the last few weeks of overworking, overpaying people, and really not taking good care of myself, if I may. So here's some things and items, and then we're going to do a roundabout on some of the best gems that we've dropped on multiple podcasts with Arianna Huffington, Dr. Michael Gervais, Miranda Kerr, Dr. Andrew Weil, speaking at the 92Y, speaking with Lewis Howes. There are so many gems that we've dropped over the last 10 years, and I've never shared them with you on this pod, so we'll do a collection of those. It is my birthday tomorrow, which is exciting. I have never felt so depressed before a birthday, and I think this is what happens when you're getting older. There are so many things that have happened over the last few weeks that I've also been really dying to share with you. And there are these moments where I'm like very, very excited to share with you. And then there are moments where I am so depressed that I don't want to share with anyone. I just want to sit in my room and pet my cat and have a think about life, or go into nature and meditate and be by myself. It's really the only way I can describe to you how real all of us are on our wellness journey. It is so important for us to be real with each other. One thing that I've learned over the last few weeks is that there are so many that are in our space, but they are not honest with you about how they're losing weight, how they're gaining money, and how they're living their lives every day. They're not honest with you about their mental health issues or the way that they are achieving their goals and dreams. The answer is no, they are not. And second to this, the other answer is it's important for you to follow those who are truthful, who are not face tuning, who are not re-editing everything to look perfect. And for those of you, I think, who are going out and speaking the truth, this is important, and it is why I found myself really imbued in those who are real deal. And I think you'll see that as a reflection of the work that I do, and I know how smart you are, and I know that you get it, and I know that you see the real from the fake. So today, while we share the biggest gems that we've learned and dropped over the last few decades, I think it's also important for us to remember that, I'm not perfect. I'm going to fail. I'm definitely going through my own growth of depression and anxiety, and I'm learning through it with you. So we'll go through ways for us to help each other out on this journey of mental health, better wellness, true wellness, not consumerism. I noticed that you guys really liked that episode. And I want us to do a reflection of where we are right now and what we can do to change and improve your life and yourself over the next few years. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. The first thing we've got on our list is remembering to take time to give back to others. It sounds like a no-brainer, and you're all like, oh yeah, duh, you talk about this all the time in the pod. I know. But point is that have you really taken time to also give back to yourself? Have you enjoyed the fruits of your labor? For me, the answer was no, I have not. Even coming up on the birthday tomorrow, I never felt like I was satisfied enough with the dozens and dozens of articles I've written, or the hundreds of recipes that I've penned, or the 6+ books I've written and dozens of TV shows I've been on. I find myself in a black, dark hole sometimes where I'm not really seeing the light. So I think it is important for us to stand up for ourselves, take a step back even, breathe. What the heck is that noise outside? Brooklyn, man, it's such a weird place. Taking time to give back also means to your peers. Being an ear to lend is sometimes the most that you can be for another person, and it's free. Taking time to give back to those who helped you to where you are today. Taking time to give back to your beautiful mom. Happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful moms and fur baby moms out there. Taking time to give back to those who have loved you unconditionally for all of these years matters. And if you have not taken time to give back to yourself, pat yourself on the back right now and give yourself a big hug and say, I love myself. I love me. I know I'm hard on myself, but I know I also love myself the most. Say it again to yourself. I know I love myself the most. One more time. I know I love myself the most. If you can't love yourself the most, you absolutely cannot love on others. So love yourself first. Give yourself that nurturing and care. And really take time to give back, especially to yourself. Removing expectation is another thing I've learned over the last few decades. It's been one of the most important pillars in my life. I am constantly disappointed in other people. I cannot help this habit that I have picked up over the years. I have so much resentment I've held in my heart. I cannot let go of this habit that I've picked up over the last few years. I would like to be a clean slate and start over tomorrow on the birthday, but I know this is nearly impossible to do. So what I can do is small baby steps to where I want to go with my life to help to remove the expectation that I have of myself, the expectations I have of my loved ones, the expectations that I have of others, and the expectations I had of my own life. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not fully happy all the time, nor should we be. Reverend Takafumi, my friend in Kyoto, Japan, has once said to me while studying for NHK World in Japan that we all have a toolbox of emotions and we have to use them wisely. If we care deeply about something, we usually have anxious feelings towards it, or maybe they're feelings of disappointment, or we have expectations of ourselves or others. And sometimes we feel depressed or lonely. But what he's saying is that every emotion has a use that fits inside of your emotional toolbox, and that sometimes you need to exercise one or the other. And it really just means you care and that you're human. And all of these feelings are okay because we're all human. They're going to be used at different times, at different points in our life. But we're all going to the same place at the end of the day. So we may as well be very aware that other people might exercise things like anger, resentment, depression. There might be a military helicopter going over them while they're recording a podcast. And we're just going to have to let them go. He also extends the invitation for us to be much more open-minded to the infinite amount of opinions, thoughts, and belief systems that exist out into the world. This can help to alleviate the expectation that we have of so many things. I think if we let up slightly on expectation and we don't react so much when things don't go our way, that we are able to live a little bit of an easier life. On Monday last week, 1 week ago, I went and I had a meeting with an old colleague, casting director in LA. And I had spilled my heart out into projects, financially, emotionally, mentally, monetarily, and with my team over the last few months. planning, writing, pre-production, production, post-production, I had noticed that even this one meeting where I counted on everything to work out had led me to this place in the beginning of my 40s saying to my parents after the meeting in LA, I drove back to my parents' house in San Diego to spend one more night with them before flying back to New York last Monday, and I said to them, I hope you don't mind me saying this, as I sat on the floor with my legs crossed Indian style. And I said to both my parents, I hope you are not disappointed nor angry at me for saying this. And it was the first time that I'd ever uttered these words. I said I've tried all that I can to get my own cooking show and to get people to see me and hear me and feel me. I've tried the most and the hardest that I could ever have tried without giving up. And I think I'm actually done with trying. I don't want to try this hard anymore, and I hope you are not upset with me. I think it's time for a different chapter in my life. And my parents both looked at me a little bit understanding, not perplexed, and they stated, oh, Candace, this is totally fine. It's not a big deal, and we love you. Don't ever live with the expectation that you are doing this for us. And I think it was all I needed to hear. And I looked at my father, the devout Christian of the two, because my mother is Buddhist, and I said to him, you know, I think I'm going to surrender all of this over to God. And that is what I did last week, 7 days ago. I had put too much expectation. I had never gotten the dollar amount that I knew was market rate or even just under market rate that I deserved. I'm on the same stage at the Today Show as some of the greats on any given day for 15 years. I love them with my whole heart. And then I see other chefs come in and out of there, and I have so much envy and so much adoration for these other people that got opportunities that I was never given. It wasn't about giving up. It was more about removing the expectation that I was so disappointed that it had not happened by this time in my life. After trying with no lack of enthusiasm along the way. Sure, I'm a little bit crass, or I could be a little bit, Daria monotone, but by no means was there ever a lack of effort or enthusiasm to want to get to where I knew I deserved to be. And I only share this with you because I think you might feel the same way that I feel. Absolutely exhausted, tired, feeling like there was no growth that had happened, feeling that people didn't follow through with the promises that they said they were going to make to help you, not feeling enough support along the way. And then sometimes there's these little sparks of energy where I do feel people like Jordan or Carlos or Coyote or Haley or, Robert, they'll come into my life and they'll push me. And they'll say, you're doing great. You know that the work that we do is beautiful. And if others don't see it, it's only a matter of time until they will. So by removing my expectations, which included my own parents' expectations of me and my sister, and any Asian kid will tell you, my God, do we live with this burden of Asian parent expectation? I would say I would include my Polish father in that because he does have a very serious way of living with a high standard, and he lives with high integrity. So when you have two parents that live with golden standards that do not disappoint, I believe that we want to carry that legacy on. And sometimes in life, it's not about removing expectation, but rather softening, letting go, And the most important word is surrender. Just like letting go of everything that you thought was supposed to happen. Celebrating the experience. Eckhart Tolle teaches us a lot about this. I didn't understand his work for many years. I rode on the train in Tokyo, sure, through my 20s and 30s, writing books, talking about that I thought I knew. And you know what? I didn't know. I just wrote because I got paid to do it, and I was really good at it. And it wasn't that there wasn't substance or life or breath in the work that I did, but it felt very strange to me that I picked up one of his books many years ago, and I didn't understand a thing. And then lo and behold, with age and wisdom and wrinkles all over your face and brain, comes a thing called knowledge and the understanding of what he was talking about. Oh, this German guy isn't so fucking crazy after all. And by the way, his accent is fascinating to listen to on YouTube. Also, his Audible books. I like to say that Eckhart Tolle reminds all of us to celebrate the experiences that we are having along the way. Because the journey may not even reveal itself to us, or the destination rather, until we're like 85. And keep in mind, Martha Stewart, I believe, is in her 80s and killing it. I mean, this is something for us to really look forward to. There's so many people out there in this huge, wild landscape of talent. It used to just be a roster at William Morris I used to sit on. But now, I sit on a bed with about 1 million other people that are wannabe Candaces. And how do I feel about it? Well, I feel like we've lost touch with celebrating experience, which isn't just about celebrating the journey to the destination. It's about celebrating those who have experience. That was a word and a phrase, celebrate experience, but you can see it both ways, right? Celebrate those who are professionals in their field who have a load of experience. I bow down to those who are in their 80s and 90s. For those Nagasaki survivors that sat down with me while I interviewed them for NHK World, they have far more life experience, especially with emotional devotion to others, with forgiveness and resilience, than any kid on TikTok who's 20. Sure, by intellectual standards, I'll just call them an idiot because they are. I'm not being mean, and I'm not, going to sugarcoat the way that most of us feel about this. We're always looking for the next best thing, for some young gunner that's going to blow us away. And while the Ant-Man is that because he's displaying greatness at his young age of 22 when he's out playing with the Timberwolves, what we don't see is greatness displayed by any TikToker that hasn't had a stage to show up and go at it. There is a saying that unless you're in the arena, you should not be speaking about others poorly. So to all of those who have judged so many of us that are in our 40s, 50s, and 60s that have the experience and clout, and you've written us off basically just because you love the next best person on TikTok and you're trying to find somebody fresh and new, you haven't forgotten about experience, have you? You haven't forgotten that there are so many professionals out there that are in their field right now just waiting to celebrate their talents with you. And these are time-tested individuals who have done the work, who have degrees, who write journals, who work with scientists, who've got doctorates and masters. Not to say that these things are important, but yes, they are. Experience matters. When my father was a nuclear auditor at a power plant, you wouldn't want some Joe Schmo who's on TikTok at 22 to be a professional auditor, would you? So why would you take advice in real estate or finance or even legal terms from somebody who also doesn't have any experience? Why would you want to learn any cooking or culinary skills, business skills, entrepreneurship from somebody who has no life experience? I was not taken serious at 22 on Top Chef. So that's why at 42, I would expect for each of you to do your 20 years and then come back and show us what you've got. I sound harsh in this world of wellness sometimes. I'm a Taurus. I'm also the only person in my family who went out on a whim and started her own business on her own with a couple $100 moving to New York with only a suitcase and landing an apartment on Ave C in 11th or 12th during 2010. The only person in my family on either side of the family that chose to start her business in New York like a dumbass in her 20s. And I got eaten alive along the way. I also proved myself to others. I may also take an earful from others, and I may read dumb comments from others sometimes, but I surely will never forget the integrity and the grace that I have in my head and my heart along the way. And I only say this to you because I know that you feel the very same way. Don't you dare let go of your experiences. Don't you dare let go of celebrating experience. And look at those who have come before you that have written beautiful books and who have celebrated immensely powerful work. Those who are humble and graceful, that do not follow social media by standards of how many followers or likes that you have, but rather the quality of their work, the kindness that's in their heart, and maybe even the value that they're bringing to the table based off of professionalism and experience. Because every time I walk on set at the Today Show, I know everybody in the room around me is far more successful than me, and I am just happy to be there. Celebrate greatness, you guys. It's not on social media. It's in real life. Get a degree, build your resume, and build something real. When the battery dies, what do you have to offer the world, as my father says? The last few tomes for today, simplify. By moving to a smaller place, by saving money, by living within your means. These are not popular things you're going to see nowadays. But if we are in for a recession, and if we are in for a rough time, it is better to make wise choices now. Have money saved in the bank, at least $100,000 if you can. If that sounds like a lot right now, let me tell you, I turned my life around after shooting the NHK documentary in 2018, 19, and 20. And I went from being in the hole to being back on the board. And I did it in a big way. And it took a lot of suffering, tears and crying. And then I realized after 2 Kleenex boxes were torn up on the floor with my cat Cece at the time meowing with me and my boyfriend Sean consoling me, that wasn't going to get me anywhere. So crying about your finances you can do for like 30 minutes. And then you got to reassess and reevaluate. I did every small little job that I could along the way. I shot for every publication, even if it was just $100 or $200 or $500. I wrote stories for people. I did video content, and I saved. I think above all things, we need to remember that saving is the most undervalued way to become successful because it's a boring topic, let's be honest. It's not exciting to talk about, and it's certainly not sexy. But let me tell you, I'd rather be who I am, humbly and honest, than be like showing off the boats and the resorts. There were so many times where very kind resorts have treated me, and I felt so guilty to go out and share that while I knew the rest of the world was suffering. I don't want to share wealth and flaunt wealth. It's not for me. I think one day when we all hit our own pinnacle of success, and that is immeasurable. It's different for every person on this planet. You could be kind just being a school teacher like my mom and be humble and happy, teaching hundreds of kids, if not thousands, about Japanese language and culture. You could be perfectly fine writing for the local newspaper and helping your local church thrift store. Or you could be like my sister and start your own business across the world in London and be happy to teach other people how to fix their bikes and put them together and take them apart. Life is not about who's who and who. And if you're counting that, I ask you that you may want to relook. But I mean, like, if you're looking at like whose income is bigger, who has a better life, a prettier wife, a bigger home, a better car, a better watch, this stuff is not important. It's not. It's just not. Rest, again, a value in life, a profit, we just do not talk about. But sometimes saying no to work, canceling work, postponing work is all you need. Quitting a job that doesn't value you, letting go of a person that just could be driving you a little bit crazy, get it out. Rest. Getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep a night is such a blessing. Forgive me for the stupid UN helicopters or whatever it is that was going over my head like 20 times when I hit record. Only, I swear to you, only when I hit record did that happen. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Second to last on my list of the things I've noticed that are really important. Solitude. You know, this may sound a little weird to people, especially around your birthday, but I did not plan anything big this year. I usually do something fabulous, treat all my friends, kind of get crazy, and then just like be hungover for 3 days. But this year I couldn't really afford to do that because there was so much work. And also I was resting from the last few shoots that we did that just ate me alive. If I went through the list of all the minute details that I take care of at work, your head would just spin. I mean, props, food styling, prop styling, pre-production, writing, editing, making sure that we have like the correct Japanese props, the line sheet, the budget, studio, bookings, audio guy, camera, lights, props, meaning like what goes on set for the backdrop and things, booking talent, making sure their schedules align, getting a hair person, a makeup person, making sure the studio is clean, pre and post, getting the new shoot studio together, which included propane this time, and ordering new furniture and shoot gear and bounce boards and, sound equipment and podcast equipment, microphones, C-stands, sandbags, head counting all. I mean, load in, load out, storage, rebooking shoots, going through clients. How many props do we have as far as appliances? The list goes on. I didn't even get into crafty yet, which is like my favorite. But it's a lot of work, and it takes months and months of preparation to do this right. And I will never work that hard again. I think you get to a certain point in your life where finding solitude and being alone and just like having a moment to stare at the beautiful blue clouds in the sky, or the white clouds rather in the blue sky, having a moment to like look at flowers and go to the botanical gardens in New York and Brooklyn, having a moment just to yourself to like have a glass of wine or champagne and breathe. And I don't mean with your phone. I mean like for real, getting a blanket and going out to the park or the beach or the lake or the river and just like be. It's a value, especially if you're somebody that has kids or a lot of pets or a lot of commitments, or you own your own business, or you have a stressful job, or you just feel like really stuck. Nature speaks to us in different ways, and it tells us a lot about what we need in our lives. Being in solitude and one with nature would be a really easy and cheap wellness practice I recommend to anyone. And it's not a vagina candle, and it's not something you can buy on Poosh. It's free and available to you at any time. And that's what true wellness really is. Being in solitude, not needing to post anything, and never needing attention from others. last on our list of the things that have really changed my life and the way that I look at things over, a couple of decades, is Mother Nature's fruits and vegetables. Dr. Mark Hyman often talks on his podcast, The Doctor's Pharmacy with FARM as the pharmacy, about how we've poisoned ourselves by eating processed foods. And when the body doesn't know what these foreign substances are, or the substances are built to be highly addictive, or the body has trouble recognizing like how to digest them, or you're just not getting enough nutrient content from them and they're empty calories. These are all things to be made aware of. If we stick to whole foods and we eat really well and we commit to getting that hit of endorphins from exercise as many days of the week as we can. For me, it's like 5. Used to be 7. But I'm giving myself the grace of 5 now. And I'm trying to be a little bit more social. I also have randomly noticed that alcohol is fun, but boy, does it feel terrible the next day. And I didn't just notice that. I've known that for a long time. But I noticed that it really feels like, depression, down in the dumps. You just don't want to work out. You want to be in bed. You want to eat cake all day. I don't want to do that. I've never really been one for letting myself go. And I practice harahachi-bu, which means eating only until we're 80% full in Japanese. Harahachi-bu. Look it up. It's great. It's been written in several of my books. If we don't learn healthy habits and we are looking at vanity, like wanting to be thin or beautiful or young, and we're using prescriptions to do this, and we're not learning the healthy habits of staying well, who are we? It goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier on the pod today. There's a lot of phonies and fakes and weirdos out there, and they just are happy to be scam artists. If things aren't scientifically backed or proven, or research isn't heavy in one person's corner or one product or one thing, I'm not going to even give it time. I have too much integrity, which unfortunately or fortunately is something that I've had to deal with my whole life. But I really don't want to do that for my birthday, first of all. And it could be fun. And then second of all, it would be easy. But I just wanted to be respected for the work that I produced out there. So if that makes sense to you, that's why you listen to this pod. Healthy habits are built off of those individuals who practice slight discipline and who also really enjoy feeling really good. And I don't mean or going out and partying and feeling good, which is no judgment if you do that stuff. But I just mean is sobriety and practicing healthy habits like working out regularly, eating delicious fruits and vegetables, cooking for yourself, getting adequate sleep, drinking enough water, taking your supplements if you need to. These things, even my beauty routine seriously does make me feel really good. I feel good after I take all my makeup off, wash my face, use my micellar water, put on my vitamin C serum, try Scarlett Johansson's new line and test it out for them and give adequate feedback. These things make me feel good. It gives me a sense of feeling refreshed at the end of the day, because New York living is tough. It's tough to live anywhere nowadays. But give yourself the benefit of the doubt by learning healthy habits, setting boundaries with yourself, and not needing to feel like you have to be thin or pretty all the time. Instead of giving yourself a dangerous prescription, it's so much cheaper and easier to learn healthy habits. They will change your life. Maybe it is something that I should look into, but I would love to teach healthy habits and help each of you to get into a better routine of how to stay healthy and well. No prescriptions needed. Cook for yourself. Fruits and vegetables will save you. Processed foods will kill you. Take care of yourself. Okay? You guys are doing a great job. I'm going to leave you with a couple of gems. We're going to post this on my Instagram tomorrow for the birthday. If you can give me a shout out of advice or something you've learned from me or something you want to see me do next in the comments, I would really appreciate it. I'll post it on May 14th, the actual birthday. It's a compilation Miss Jordan and I have put together of some of my best hidden gems on different pods. I don't like to toot my horn very often, but I'll toot it that we've done a pretty good job of staying full of integrity and grace through the years. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to say the F-bomb. I can't help it at this point. It's part of who I am. But I will say I've never changed the direction of where I'd like to go, which is helping you. So thank you for your ear to lend for all of these years since 2018 on the Wabi Sabi pod. Thank you for your grace in the 3 weeks off. Boy, did I need them. And thank you for your love and kindness to this pod. If you can write a review for my birthday, that would be great. Make it juicy, make it real, make it funny, make it authentic, and sell it. Pass this pod to one friend that you think that really needs it. I've written 7 books. I've reported on the Today Show for 15 years. And I've been on Iron Chef and Top Chef and all that. It's more about where we're going than where we've been. But still, celebrate the wins along the way. Paradoxical juxtaposition. All right. I love you guys. Here we go. And don't forget to give us a juicy follow and lots of comments. Join the newsletter on Candace Kumai because a new one comes out tomorrow. And have a fabulous week. Here we go. Every successful entrepreneur will take the time to give back, but it matters that you both do that and that you share that with your kids. Like we would fill like hundreds of bags every week at a local food bank in Venice at a church. And it was St. Mark's Parish, I think. And it was so important to just be there. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people might have this weird intent where they want to be famous or they want to be beautiful or powerful. But really, life's most enriching moments come from the essence of giving back. Absolutely. Yeah. Be easy on yourself. Be real. Enjoy it because it may not last forever. And you don't want to think back and say, I wish I did X, Y, Z. Please go out into this world and do it. You know, I started in wellness about 20 years ago here in New York City. It wasn't cool. It wasn't cute. I also went to culinary school at 21 and paid my way through. For me, wellness is truly practicing what you preach and giving to others with service, with expecting nothing in return. If you really want to change your life, learn how to cook, learn how to create your own recipes at home, and simplify out of your wellness, quote unquote, routine. Because it's so much more about going inward, more importantly than anything on the exterior.
I love when you say practice what you preach. That say-do mentality or philosophy is part of wellness. Why is that important to you? I'll hold my thought, but why is that important to you for wellness?
I can't take you serious if you're out there fraudulently trying to make money off of sick people or vulnerable people. I can't take you serious if you haven't done the work, if you haven't nothing to prove, for at least 2 decades. I want to see what you've done with your life, and I want to hear your story, and I want you to make me feel like you're electric, and I just can't take my eyes off of you. As Maya Angelou says, do something so well that people just cannot take their eyes off of you. What has sort of poked and prodded at me over the years is the lack of experience that we see in individuals out there telling others how they should live their life, what they should be spending their money on, and how virtuous they are and how much better than they are than the rest of us. My mother is a Japanese school teacher in San Diego. My father is a Polish immigrant whose father was a POW from Poland, captured by the Russians. He obviously escaped, or else I wouldn't be alive. And later in life, when he moved to Connecticut down the way, he was a janitor at a hospital. And he wasn't any better or any worse than who I work with reporting on the Today Show or who I write with at Vogue magazine. We're all the same.
Nothing will ever be handed to you easily that was ever worth it. Mm-hmm. So the harder things, the barriers, the tough times, the struggles, and instead, shikataganai, it cannot be helped. There's a chapter in Kintsugi Wellness where we learn most things that aren't working out for you, you are better off letting them go. Like the job that you didn't get, the apartment you didn't get, the boyfriend you wanted. I mean, so badly right now, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I'm like trying not to date because I just really don't want to go through what I went through. And maybe I'm just not ready.
For sure.
So the acceptance of things that are not meant for you, shikataganai, is a present that you must open when you are ready. Just accept the gift of not having everything work out perfectly.
But just like you said earlier, I had a great day yesterday. It was like amazing, like went to work out, went to Bed Bath & Beyond, and then an altercation happened in the parking lot and it ruined my entire day. I can't focus on all these amazing things that I have coming my way because I will always let the one thing bother me. So I do want to let people know they're not alone when they do that. It's like when somebody doesn't get back to me, I'm like, they must hate me.
I did something wrong.
Yes.
What did I do? Rack my brain all day. What could I have possibly done?
You do it too.
I know we
It's
all
the
do. Kelsey, we talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's just busy, but it's so bad. I torture myself.
Yeah.
So this morning I woke up at 5 because I'm on New York time from working coast to coast and just got back in on Thursday. So I meditated, and when I went out, I go on my patio, I have a pillow and a blanket, and then I just lean up against a wall because I'm not one of those people that wants to sit the whole time straight up. And before I knew it, because I really needed a mind eraser from the day before and to ask God just to grant serenity into my life and peace. And it was an hour. Those demons, they're not going to go away until I do the work. And instead of just being I want to say a person who is not aware of their contributions to the world. Like you and I could sit and do clickbait all day on social, but I would rather invest in healing and doing deep work and then writing about it or speaking about it, because I know we're both good at those mediums, and actually figuring out a way to change the way that I think about these everyday nuisances that get into our way. What I'm trying to do as a Japanese American is now look back at my life and say, I don't look like everyone else. I wasn't raised like everyone else. I was discriminated against tremendously, not so much in the modeling world, but more so in the food world, just by being a girl that wanted to transition. And then
from a model to...
Yeah, that was not easy. But it paid...
It's like, go back to your modeling thing.
Exactly, yeah. I'm sure. But it paid for all my culinary school. So
there you go.
That was the buyout. Was modeling also taught me how to hustle. And I wouldn't know how to hustle if it wasn't for all my colleagues in modeling and the agents and stuff that were pushing me to work hard, to build clientele, to work, with my heart. But also back then it was about material things. It was about physicality and beauty on the outside. And inside, with the art of kintsugi in mind, I was broken. I was not happy. I tortured myself to be perfect all the time. There are glimpses of those moments that still haunt me to this day. And I kind of realized, like, if I'm speaking to young women and women about kintsugi wellness, what can I do to be honest and vulnerable and to change the industry? And that's another thing, is just kindness and empathy and compassion go so far. You don't have to make it in this industry.
I had a producer on set like scream, "There will not be another poached egg," like so loud that it rattled the entire set. And when I went home that day, I was so grateful that I was not that way.
Right.
And I don't care what anybody says. I find that you can be a good person to the core and still make it, even if you get trampled on.
Right.
I truly believe someone is taking notes.
Right.
And the last one I thought was really remarkable. And this is something I have a hard time with. I'm not sure if it's my or the fact that I feel like I've been fighting against the current my whole career, which I'm sure you have also felt, Ariana. You say to forgive yourself for any judgments you're holding against yourself, and then forgive your judgments of others. If Nelson Mandela can do it, you can too. And then look at your life and the day ahead with newness and wonder.
Oh, these are so good. I haven't watched all of them in so long. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bonus compilation that we're posting tomorrow on the pod. I got a little emotional and a little bit like sentimental there, taking a trip back over to Lewis Howe's place, a conversation with Almost 30 Girls, a conversation with Maria Menounos. I mean, these are great. We're going to add some more big podcasters and like Michael Gervais and Jenna Kutcher, and also maybe a little snippet from the 92Y where I spoke with Well and Good. I mean, there's so many things that we've done that every now and then it's really good for you to do a reassessment of where you are and where you are going, and celebrate yourself on your birthday. Don't you dare let anybody ever tell you it's not a special day. It is, and you are so special and so deserving of love and attention. And I see you, and I thank you, especially for listening. Watching myself, I laugh, and I also look at the clothes I wear, and I judge myself. Like, what were you thinking with the leopard headband on Top Chef, Candace? Your bra straps hanging out. Or my mom will judge me and say, you're smacking your lips. You're clapping your hands. Too much on set. Maybe you need to watch yourself, but you are really confident in what you are doing. Me and your father, we are very proud of you. So, it only took 40 years to hear that. I say that all the time, but my mom knows how much I love her. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for my health, for my parents' health, for my friends' health, for my siblings' health, for my partner's health, and for everyone around me that I love. I'm grateful for all of my friends. Thank you guys for the wonderful birthday wishes. And please send me a little note, because today I need it more than ever. Almost ready to give up and still just going to surrender at this point in time. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this special podcast at 50 minutes, which we rarely do anymore. And please, as a gift, sign up for my newsletter at CandiceKumai.com. We'll also do a survey very soon to see what you want to see me do next as I venture into my next chapter in life, which I'm so ready to do. And when I use the word transition, this word can be used for many things. So obviously it means from modeling to the culinary world. And we should be respectful of like words that we use and their new meaning after a few years have gone by, but maybe sometimes correct ourselves or re-edit. But I love you guys, and it's been a pleasure serving all of you. And my life's greatest compliment is having you listen to my stupid rants here on the Wabi Sabi Pod. Thank you for listening again, and have a beautiful, amazing day. You are so incredibly loved.